Yo, Frank, what's up, dude? Did you rip on some bass this weekend? Brian, how are you? AJ, did you rip bass? Does anybody rip the lips off a bass this weekend? Let me know. I'd like to hear. I would like to live vicariously through you. Please let me know. One practice. There you go. Daryl, what's up? Brendan, how are you? Paul? Yeah, the Josh stream is cool. A lot of soft plastic info that I didn't know about. All right. We should have talked about. We should have talked about. We should have talked about. There was so much I wanted to ask him, but I didn't want to like. I just kind of wanted to let everything flow rather than just like drilling with questions. But I would have liked to have talked about salt in soft plastics and how different kinds of salt do things and like just salt in general versus no salt, different kinds of salt, all things salt. There was a tip about salt, but I won't give that away. That's for the campers. Had over 20 in practice, but showed my butter how to catch them. So you practiced with a competitor in the event, drew somebody else. The guy you went and practiced with then used your technique and pattern to catch fish in the tournament. Is that what you're telling me, AJ? Is that what I'm hearing? In a roundabout way? Oh, you ride with your boater. I got you. So you fished with the same, you practiced with the same guy you fished with. And it didn't work out on money day. I know, Burns. I'm trying to get into the paint room early today, so I figured I'd get on here and chitty chat while it was early. I came in yesterday, and you can't tell it, but I cleaned up the place a little bit. What's up, Kyle? I did a little cleaning. Makes me feel a little better. And I had these jigs laying here beside my computer, and they were just like 3/8 ounce Noala swim jigs, bluegill colored, and there's 5 of them, and they have skirts on them. They just need to be wire tied. So I figured I'd get these wire tied up. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but maybe I'll put them on. Maybe I'll put them on eBay or some Facebook group. I haven't done that in a while. I did put 2 items on eBay recently. It was kind of enjoyable. It's kind of enjoyable. I don't know, like even as lame as eBay is, um, I I still enjoy having stuff on there because it part of me knows that there's people that shop on eBay that don't shop anywhere else, are they? That don't have Facebook, that don't do anything, but they buy on eBay. And I've had a lot of really good customers come out of eBay, um, but that was back in the day. Um, but part of me has a soft spot for eBay. So even if you get hosed on all their fees and bull malarkey that they hit you with, I still like eBay. But in other news, uh, the bean got the stomach bug. That was nice. That was how we spent our weekend, pretty much. That was how we spent our weekend, nursing the bean back to health. But she's better now. She's all better. Took about 3 days to run its course, but she's good. There we go. Big old nasty hook. Yeah, she's had a tough go. Uh, but yeah, she was back to normal today. So took her weekend. Took her a weekend to recover. All right. I need to double loop this. Anybody besides AJ catch any fish? Had 17, he had 18. Drop shotting docks for spawning fish. What was the worm of choice? Morgan caught some on the Dreamwalker. Is it early for that or no? I guess not. It's friggin' June. Oh, where does time go? Where does time go? Uh, you didn't lose your bait, did you, Brendan? Did you lose the bait or the catfish? Caught a bunch. Look at the Ozarks, no size. Been a rough spring for size. Hmm. Well, Paul, you just need to watch Randy Blockett's channel and you will get all the tips necessary to catch those pesky, bigger than average size Lake of the Ozarks fish. Probably the banana rig you should be throwing, and you would be catching 4 pounders, right? Right? Right. Okay. You tried it, didn't you? You tried it, didn't you, Paul? What I mean, you banana rigged. All right. What a beautiful little collection of swim jigs. They look so nice when they're all tied up neat. Skirts are all lined up. They look good. Shallow fish were a little funky on the river from Wachita after a big lightning storm. Lots of nippers shallow. Oh, the prop bait. Burns did send me a little prop. I consolidated yesterday, Burns, so you gotta be patient with me. Burns sent me the Arkansas spinner. Is Arkansas the hub of prop baits? Or did South Carolina and North Carolina take it over? Or is it Florida? No, it's fixed. It doesn't spin. The blades counter rotate. That's interesting. I'm not smart enough to make blades counter rotate. Here in the Carolinas for the Brimstall pop. Yeah, I feel like those are the two, and then I guess Florida Devil's Horse. I don't know anywhere else in the country where like the Devil's Horse. I throw a Devil's Horse. I used to throw a Devil's Horse a ton. I think it's probably one of the most underutilized topwaters in existence comparative to how effective it is. Morgan, I had never heard that until like a few years ago, and that guys think that the Devil's Horse imitates a needlefish, and we got lots of needlefish down here, and I've caught a lot of bass, and I've never seen one with a needlefish in it, like eating a needlefish. And I've seen a lot of needlefish swimming around. I've never seen a fish chasing them. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Is anybody from Florida that can confirm that they do eat needlefish? Like I said, we got lots of needlefish down here everywhere. And they'll bite your skinny dipper when you're swimming it in. You'll feel a little ding ding ding, and then you'll reel it in, and you'll see a little needlefish coming behind you. That's a good point, Morgan. There's not much to them. I would think that there's not much to break down. Like I've cleaned a lot of fish from down here to get inside the stomachs, and there's always crabs, and there's always little mini shrimp. I've never found a needlefish carcass. But like you said, the stomach acid might eat through them so quick that they just disintegrate. Fished in Florida a lot. Never seen a fish eat one. Me neither. Crazy shad. People don't throw the crazy shad either. And it's plastic. And it's an awesome prop bait. Um, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Gray, is that you? Or is that a different Paul G. Smith? That's you. You had a pretty hefty bag at the ferry. 19. I hear you. Probably throwing a damn crazy shed. Gray, I used to throw a damn. When I was coming up, I don't know what got me away from it, but like from like 15 to like mid 20s, hell, all I threw was a damn. Like I never threw a spook. I threw a devil's horse, a ton, and dude, I caught some monsters on it. And the interesting thing was about it was that in certain times of the year where you would think the spook, like a spook would be the bite, you could throw a spook all you wanted, dude, till your arm fell off and never get a roll, a boil, nothing. Throw a devil's horse in there, and it's like a light switch went like flipped. So stupid, but I experimented during that time frame because like it was it was all I threw, and I'd like give my dad the rod and be like, here, throw this devil's horse, and I'm gonna throw the I'm gonna throw like a spook just to see if they'll bite it, and he'd like start catching fish on a devil's horse like I knew he would. But me, I'm thinking these fish, if they're eating a devil's horse, they should eat a spook. And dude, I'd sit there and twitch that thing and walking around, and I could never, um, um, I would never like those fish just wouldn't react to a spook for whatever reason. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? They'll still eat it. Well, that's good to see. The ferry is what kind of shape would you rank the ferry right now? Coming off of a 19-pound bag, I know it's not much of an indicator. Uh, like, was that a? Did you feel like that was really pushing the limits, being able to get 19, or were you like, all right, that's kind of what I was expecting? I don't know how the ferry's fishing right now. We were supposed to go up there for Mother's Day, but plans changed. Teckle is supposed to come out with their take on the squeaky dolphin this year. If their Instagram is to be believed, I'm sure they are. I know. Josh probably didn't want to get into that pissing contest in our stream, um, but there's a whole backstory on that. Um, but been a crazy spring, but it's getting better. Water took forever to warm up. That's kind of good, I think. I don't hate that. Paul, when y'all or Paul Gray, when y'all got out on the river Saturday morning, were there little shad shad dancing across the weeds? A few. Well, that's good. That's good. That's the most infuriating bite of all time. Shad spawning. Gray, you've probably been on both sides of this stick, but I can't tell you how many times I've launched my boat on a Friday morning and seen like an entire like area covered in dancing shad, and then overnight the temperature dropped 2 degrees and you go back in there on Saturday morning, and it's like a dead zone. It's like there's no shad within 10 miles of the whole place. And then you get back to like the ramp, and I pull up to like your boat, and I'm like, Gray, what's up, dude? You're like, nothing. Like, you catch them this morning? Like, yeah, I pulled up. Shad were flipping everywhere, and we just hammered them. It's like, really? Because the shad where I was at were non-existent, but where you were, they were flipping everywhere. Like, what? I could never understand what would make some areas. I thought I had it figured out at one point, and then like that kind of theory got dispelled. But I never could. I don't know if that is figure outable. I don't know if it's just like nature and like, but I feel like it should be like you should be able to pinpoint which shad do what. Um, like I'm pretty sure it's a depth thing. But I don't know. It really is, Morgan. I don't know if like that's one of those things that it's like, do you spin your wheels on it or do you just pull up and if they're not spawning, just like go somewhere else? I think that's a smart thing to do. But like when I was younger and dumber, I would sit there and be like, well, uh, maybe I'll just wait. Maybe they're just sleeping late. Maybe they'll start spawning early or start spawning later and nothing ever happened. But I think the deal is you just have to, because if they're not spawning, you're not going to get bit anyway. So uh, I think the move is you just run around and you just give yourself like an hour just to blow. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a mystery too. I don't know if it's. I think you just got to look. But that gets annoying because I hate running around at daylight, and then you're like, you run down the river, you run up the river, and you're like, all right, these shad aren't doing shit. Let me go back and check this spot. And you like run like 10 minutes back down the river, and then there's like two boats sitting on where you're going. And you're like, well, shit. Let me go check this other spot. You go up there, and there's like boats sitting there, and it's like, by the time you get done dicking around, it's like 8 o'clock, and you still haven't like fished. So I don't know. I don't know. It's fun. It's fun though. I do. I haven't been on a good shad spawn bite in quite some time. You have to fish when they're spawning. Um, let's see. Watch some MLF over the weekend. The MLF drone is higher than Snoop Dogg. Don't hear the comments on Bassmaster. That's pretty funny. I wonder if Wheeler keeps winning, people will try and find something to accuse him of having an edge. We might be witnessing an angler that could be in the same conversation with Clun. Oh, Anthony, I certainly think he is in that same conversation. He will go down with that kind of pedigree just from his wins, but especially for his age. Um, but I don't feel like I don't like Clun. It helped Clun's like legend status because he was weird. So he had a mystique around him. The same goes for Van Dam. Van Dam had a mystique around him because he was so good and he would dominate. But if you heard him speak on tournament fishing and bass fishing, he had the most generic vanilla garble. Like it was the same thing every time. And it's like, dude, if you're as good as you are, like tying on a damn red eye shad, and because it shimmies on the fall, is not why you're a badass. Let's just get that out of the way. Like he's pretty good at promoting product, but you never got the real truth, the real truth out of Van Dam. Yeah, a 6XD is not why Van Dam won a bunch of shit. Um, so and you never heard him elaborate hardly on anything. I think Kevin is the best at saying a whole lot while also saying nothing at all. And he regurgitates a lot of stuff. Like all if you've heard him once, you've heard him a million times. And like I said, he says a lot, but he says nothing at all. Um, but to get where he's gotten, it's not uh, it's not by chance or by a Strike King 1.5. Um, so Van Dam's got that mystery about him. Wheeler, I don't know. He's a little, to me, he seems like a really nice guy, but he's a little car salesy. Uh, he's like I said, he seems nice, but he seems like he's got that. I'll tell you what he seems like. He seems like he is at the very top of a multi-level marketing scheme. You know those people to where they walk around and they're like, you can tell they have this arrogance about them, but they're nice and they seem like good people. But I think I think I think he's at the top of the pyramid, uh, and you want to like him, but there's something that's you kind of don't want to get on the pyramid. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't. I like TV preacher. Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that. Um, so I'm with you, Paul. There's just something. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like when you watch him on, which is the probably the case for the majority of people um, that you see, that when you see like an internet person or any type of social media influencer or whatever, what you see, you're probably getting about 10% of the the real person, and then there's like the other 90% is how they would act like behind closed doors, maybe more or less. I don't know, but I don't feel like the person we see. I feel like that's the TV preacher. I don't feel like I don't feel like we're getting the real actual human. But I think also what happens is when you have like a camera on you and you're in front of a lot of people and you're at tournaments and you have to talk to people, I feel like you eventually become your persona. So then you don't even know who the old person is, who the real you is. You're just you know, car salesman on camera, off camera, tells you some juice, curse like a sailor. Possibly. Wheeler's just cocky enough to piss people off. The ding stuff drives me nuts. I think it's I don't hate on the ding stuff. I think it's funny. Um, I think it's funny, but I mean I think it's clever. Like I enjoy the like marketing side of it. because it works. Like, you know, anytime they post like a video or like a picture or something, there's always a bunch of comments. Ding. So yeah, they're just making money. Just making money. But you know, I prefer like I prefer like a Greg Hackney's way of making money, or a you know, any of those like non ShamWow guys. Um, Trying to think who else. I feel like Connell is a probably a pretty good interpretation of himself, because he doesn't really have a filter uh, on his videos, which is uh, I will say Connell's pretty entertaining. Uh, who else? Mark Daniels. I feel like Mark Daniels is probably pretty accurate. Uh, Swindle is becoming a caricature of his persona. Yeah, I don't know where that guy's going. I listened to him. I listened to him do live. Um, I listened to him on live, Bassmaster Live, Bass Live, when they were at Lay, and he was pretty subdued, and it was enjoyable to listen to. Um, it was like he was still like he was still Swindle, and he was still cracking jokes, but it wasn't so like forced, because every time he goes on stage it's forced because he knows he has to make some sort of analogy to make everybody laugh. But on Bass Live he was kind of just like chill and doing the same kind of analogies, but they were just like it was the way he delivered them. They were just more natural, and it was not as uh, painful to watch. But I enjoyed his commentary. Um, Wheeler seems to be breaking away. I'm sure Wheeler's got some sort of like publicist that's telling him what to do, that he's paying, you know, 90 grand a year. Swindle's getting more mellowed with age compared to his younger self. Yeah, possibly. I'll tell you what it does. It hurts me to watch Swindle walk, because I know in like 10 years that dude's gonna be hobbling around. I can't watch Swindle walk. Anytime I see a video of him like walking his bag to the weigh-in, I just gotta close my eyes. I like peeking. Like, is it over yet? It hurts me to watch Swindle walk. Don't hate the player because he's the best. Is I guess Wheeler is he leading AOY, or do they even do that over there? He is branching out from the others. Interesting. Wonder why. Ott is leading. So Ott's the best. I heard something about Ott Defoe years ago before he made it to the elites, when he was fishing BFLs and stuff. And I don't know if it was true or not, but maybe somebody else does that's maybe from around him. Um, but After, I think it was maybe the year, I don't know. He hadn't made it big yet, but I kept hearing about him, and he was traveling around fishing BFLs and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, "You know why he does so good?" I'm like, "No." Um, they said his dad and his uncle would like follow him to wherever he was fishing, and they would both pre-fish in separate boats, and they would all three pre-fish. Like I said, I don't know if this is complete malarkey or not, but that was the rumor I heard about Ott, was that when he would go fish these tournaments, that he would have like a caravan of family members um, help him pre-fish. Could be garbage. Could be true. Don't know. Never asked him. But that was way back in the day, though. Who knows? Uh, you might talk to Ott and ask him that, and he would say, "Dude, my dad doesn't even fish or have a boat, and I don't even have an uncle." You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Um, but it's one of those interesting rumors from the road you hear. He does have a jet boat. I do like his jet boat. You think it's because of BASS swindle is getting that way? I wish they would go back to the 80s and 90s when anglers would get into fights like it's a normal thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You gotta be PC, Kyle. You gotta be PC. And they don't want to stir up any caca. They don't want to get canceled. They're already probably walking a thin line by hooking an animal in the face and then dragging it to the boat out of its home and then putting it in a dark box and bouncing it around for 8 hours. So they're probably trying to be on their P's and Q's so they don't stir up any more, bring any more attention to them. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I did clean up a little bit. I still got some stuff. Oh, you want to see my rod wrapping? So I was going through my rods yesterday, and I noticed that I had a guide that one of the wraps had come off of. It was a double-footed guide, and the back guide popped up. I think it's this one. You'll be able to tell which one it is. What's my rating? What's my wrap rating? I can't get it any closer. It has no epoxy on it. It's just the red because I didn't want it to be. I didn't want it to cut the epoxy off. But this was hand wrapped between my legs with. I didn't have any black thread. I only had red. That was the flat nylon, which I feel like is more easy to wrap with. I had some black thread, but it was more like braid. So I've got I don't know what this is going to do for my OCD when I look down on the deck of the boat and have that one shining red wrap, but we'll see. Like I said, we have one red. It should work. That would look pretty good. Oh, I know, Brendan. It's a ripoff. It's a ripoff. You have to order like 100 guides to make it worth their shipping costs. Wrap looks tighter than a dollar bill. Vacuum up some booger sugar. There you go. So Hopefully it holds up. I don't know. Morgan, are you there? Can you tell me how long a rod wrapped with no epoxy on it will last? I'm assuming it should last a pretty good while. I even did the fancy, like when I terminated the wrap, I laid down like a piece of braid and wrapped over it a bunch all the way down, and then I put the end through it and pulled it through, and it laid the tag end underneath all the reps. But AJ, I didn't want it that permanent. Like I didn't want it to go back and cut all that stuff off because I want it to be done right and with actual the right stuff. I don't have the right epoxy. I don't have anything that's actually what you're supposed to use for doing that. I don't have flex coat. I don't have the right colored thread. I don't have anything. So that's just a spraying a very thin clear. Maybe it's a lot of work. No, I didn't use any thread finish. It's just thread. No, it's not under. The only thing I think is going to rub it is my line when I wrap it. But no, it's just thread. Just thread. It should. The only thing I think is that would dick it up is probably riding on the carpet in the boat. The friction from the carpet will probably wear some of the thread. I don't know. But I've got some like 30-minute epoxy. Morgan, I wrapped the tag end up under all of it. So I wrapped the guide, and then I laid a loop down, and then I wrapped over the loop, and then I put the tag in through the loop and pulled it back under everything. I'm real fancy. I'm real fancy. I'm real advanced over here. That's the easiest way for me to do it. I don't know what the appropriate way is. I don't know how the pros do it. It shouldn't unwrap, I would think. Done that way. If you use big game, I probably could have and just snilled it. That would have been probably most appropriate. Oh. Yeah, super glue sounds like a real bad idea. Super glue sounds like not something I want. Gators is fixed. I don't need Matt Steffen. What's he do? Is he a mud hole guy? No, I'm gonna pass on the super glue. I did try some. UV stuff yesterday. I couldn't get it to dry fast enough, so I just got it off. I just got rid of it because I hit it with the little flashlight for a minute or two, and then I took it outside and left it outside for like 2 hours, and I came out and it's still sticky. I was like, screw this shit. Well, Stefan needs to give me a promo code for their absurd shipping, and then I might do business with them. I really can't see the justification in building your own rods. Because every time I got on, like when I back in when I got out of college, had a job, was just like looking for shit to throw money at. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna build all my own rods. Uh, and then I started looking at it, and I got on like Mudhole and started looking at their rod blanks, and I said, "Where's the cheap ones? Where's the like $50 blanks?" Turns out there wasn't any. Um, Mudhole, wow, they must be moving some rods to have a facility with an executive suite. That's pretty fancy. Yes, Popper next burns. I have to go test. I need to go this afternoon. I was going to go yesterday, but I ran out of time. Packages are out for delivery. Woo, that's exciting, dude. I never get like good mail. I get Burns mail, and then the other mail I get is work. So to actually get fun mail is exciting. Did North Fork Composite make Powell's rod blanks? I do not know that. I do not know what blanks Powell's are derivative of. I'm not sure. I would like to know, because then if I needed a rod, I could just go find that blank and know what I'm getting. Yeah, I think this guy's going to be next. I think this guy's going to be next. Mudhole is an odd choice for a company name. It is. There's lots of those. Anthony, I see company names all the time, and I think to myself, what a shitty name. I bet if they do, I can get one or two of those blanks for your cranking rod. There's no sense in building cheap rods. If you want to build a $100 rod, it's going to cost you $100. You can save money building the high-end stuff. There you go. So that is the answer for future rod builders. If you're like me and you don't like extremely high-end stuff, and you want to, but you're specific and want like certain things, you're just better off buying them and just dealing with it. Get your 5 4-pounders custom baits. Yeah, that would be a prime example, AJ. Or like the guy that I keep seeing on Instagram that keeps popping up, and I have to like tell Instagram I don't want to see this shit anymore. Clickbait Customs, not Daniel. There's 2 clickbaits. It's like, dude, is your head so far up your ass that you didn't look to see that in the microbial fishing lure, custom painted fishing lure world, that you didn't take 2 seconds to look up on Facebook or Instagram if there was another clickbait? Like, it's not that hard. Maybe they did, and they said, screw it. I'm clickbait. You think of something else. Need to know about the knocker. How about half knockers, half not knockers, Burns? That's what I'm thinking. When you're so unoriginal, you don't just copy patterns, you copy their name. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, I didn't get that. I had the name clickbait before clickbait was even a thing. People didn't even know what clickbait was. My name's Click. I'm Mr. Click, and I make baits, so I was the original clickbait. Correct, Morgan? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the meaning behind that all is. Dookie Shoot Rod Hole Company. Pretty much. Mud butt. No, no. I think that's the tip of the day. ABGPZ lures. Yes, there's too many of those. No offense, BBC. I think that's the tip of the day. Is if you want cheap rods, don't think you're going to build them. It's easier to just go buy them. But if you like expensive stuff, $400 or $500 stuff, you can save money. Thanks, Morgan, for shedding the light on the how the custom rod wrapping world game works. I wish somebody would have told me that early on. That would have made me. That would have made me save a little time on the Google. What I thought I was going to do, Morgan, I thought I was going to be able to take $100, $150 rod, and I thought I was going to be able to make it for like 60. I was wrong. I mean, if you take a $25 crankbait, you take all the materials. I mean, you can build it for a reasonable price if you take the time to figure out what you're doing. But at the end of the day, it's probably worth buying. Morgan, are the point blank rod blanks any good or overpriced for their blanks? Good question. I don't know anything. Let's ask our local rod expert, Morgan Mason. You wanted a $6 crankbait for $2, yes. And I wanted to go out and buy $600 worth of paint and materials and all that kind of shit. No, when I started painting, it was never about saving money. Rods were, because I wanted to save money and get exactly what I wanted, and I didn't want any writing on them, and I wanted them to just be black, unfinished, with just a little bit of epoxy on the guides, and really good guides. Cheap blanks, badass guides. Who can build me that rod? Is that an age? I don't like a gloss shine. The finish on my glasses. Yeah, I don't like. That's the thing about all my rods now. They're so old and crusty. Most of the epoxy's gone off of them, so they're pretty much matte finish. I wonder, Burns, if I could take a flattening agent and put it in epoxy and put matte finished epoxy wraps on my rod. So North Fork, that blank retails for $250, and the point blanks are comparable to $400 for us. That doesn't sound terrible. It would seem like the large custom builders can buy blanks and guides at a wholesale price. Possibly Hershey Highway heavy hitters. Buy Wally World Rod, strip the guides, handles, and stickers, and rebuild them. Not a terrible. At that point, I could just take all my Powells and do that. Um, which is in a perfect world. We talked about that before, Sean. How long it would actually take me or somebody professional to take 15 rods and re-guide them. And we figured out that it wouldn't take long, that the problem would be you would have to have lots of turners, and that the cost of the guides would probably equal to what it would cost to just buy like another used rod. But I don't know how that. I'd be interested to know if a flattening agent would work with epoxy and give it a matte finish. That would be interesting. I know you could put. I know you could probably cut the sheen down a pretty fair amount, but I don't know if you would have to use so much to flatten it that it would act weird. But worth trying. I've never heard of anybody doing that. Maybe I need to send you a little. You could scuff it, do the old Epic Eric trick. If I catch those NFC blanks on sale, I can use carbon fiber grips and Fuji K Alkanite guides, which makes a sweet rod, and have them finished out cheaper than the blank cost retail. There you go. Morgan, how many custom rods do you fish with? Is your goal to have nothing but your own custom rods? Is that what the is that in a perfect world would you have nothing but your own builds? Or is there some rods that you can't duplicate, like your old Falcon or whatever it is? And how do you buy blanks? Like, I would feel like the return policy on rod blanks would have to be pretty incredible, because you would like read like what the taper and the power and all that kind of stuff for the blank would be, and then you get it and you're like, this thing feels like ass. Or it wasn't what I expected it to be. I don't know. Fish like a $400 rod. I don't know what a $400 rod fishes like. I don't know what a $400 rod fishes like. Brennan, it's probably some Chinese shit. Oh, what time is it? Closing in on an hour. I told myself I was going to stop in an hour today, so I can go get started on these crankbaits. Gotta have a rod blank store not far from you. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We don't have one of those. We don't have one of those. I was just thinking how shitty our uh, somebody. I saw some, like, I follow some like Alabama page. And they were like, "What's the best like homemade pizza restaurant in your town or something?" It's like, we don't even have one. Like, all Mobile has is chains. It's all that'll survive here. It's so shitty. Right now, maybe half of mine I've built. A lot of them are similar to something I've already had, or something you're trying to duplicate. Gator, I wish we had Casey's, but we don't. I keep hearing about it. I know you said no KRDRTs. How about the regulars? You mean like a legit one for painting? I paint those all the time. Yeah, I repaint DRT stuff all the time. The only problem with DRT stuff is typically my paint is only as good as what I'm painting over. Yeah, until they start calling their clash with the letter that it's meant to be spelled with, a C, no DRT products will be allowed. Um, but the the clear coat on DRTs is typically, or the whole paint process on DRTs is typically not great. Um, they flake and they peel and they kind of have a tendency to delaminate a little bit. Um, so they're not my favorite to paint on because I know that typically what I'm painting over is pretty weak. Um, so, I mean, with that in mind, yes, I can paint them, but it's not as good as painting over something else that sticks. Gator, good luck. Have fun. It's like painting over a Roman maid. Like, can you paint over a Roman maid? Sure. Is Roman maid's clear coat going to fall off? Probably. Does that make my paint and clear coat fall off? Yes. So it's all about what you're painting over. Um, you could dress those same blanks up with Torzite or recoils and have something comparable to like a $500 to $600 rod, but they aren't that big of an improvement in the guides over a $30 set of Fuji Ks. Alkanite guides for 4x the price. Wow, it's a lot. $30 a set seems pretty reasonable. If I could buy, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. What would that cost me? 17 times 30. It would cost me $510 to re-guide $510 to re-guide all my rods. Brennan, I told you they were big, dude. They didn't look that big until you get them. Really enjoyed the hybrid guides on the Interax and Alpha Anglers. What does that mean, Sean? Alkanites are the best bang for your buck. I'm all about bang. How did these fit on the sticks? That was a lot. That was about the maximum. Guides equal a truck payment. Yeah. Back in the old construction days, I would have just been like, oh, let's go order all this shit. That'd have been done. That project, and I would have ordered a turner and like all the shit. The recoils on my Interax rods have been bulletproof. What's wrong with the do the what's the do the Alkanites have inserts or are they insertless? That is the maximum. Burns is not going bigger. We have maxed Burns out. Brennan, you better tie that to some 25 big game. Alpha Angler uses 2 or 3 regulars, then recoils. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't own or know much about Alpha Angler. I haven't heard much out of them in a while. They have a hybrid guide train. The first couple guides have titanium frames and inserts, and the running guides are recoils. Sounds cool. until one of those inserts pops out. And then the rest of them, you're like, damn, I should have put recoils on these. The alkanized type of insert in the K-frame. As long as they're durable, I just need durability. How many jigs can you poke with an alkanite insert without it popping out? How many times can I grab my line and like slide it down and pop a jig loose without my insert coming out? Or should I not do that anymore? I'm pretty bad about it. It's eaten many a rod tip from my pals. And you can hear it when it happens. It's funny. No, the tips aren't hard to fix, Sean, but they're hard to order when you have to pay $37 to get one $3 tip sent to you. Unless there's alternatives to Mudhole to order this stuff. That's what we were bitching about earlier. Is Mudhole does not make it easy to repair a couple guides on your rod. They will hose your ass. Had issues with Fuji guides popping out. It's the rods I've used in the past. I don't Fuji that I've had insert issues. Does Lure Parts Online have a decent guide selection? I haven't looked in there. I only went to Mudhole. I felt like anytime I looked at Lure Parts, it was always like they were lacking. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Burns, I can't tell you how many jigs I've pitched or crankbaits I've thrown or spinnerbaits or buzzbaits or any fishing lure, period. Missing like 2 inserts. Don't give a shit. Like I get pissed at first and then I'm like, screw it. Let's roll nude, no insert. Jans. Yeah, maybe Lure Parts is the place to shop. I typically Burns, when that happens, I will typically say, "You effing dick." That's usually my go-to. Dick. I actually have had. I'm missing one on one of these rods. Which one is it? I was looking at it yesterday. This one. Where is it? Maybe it wasn't. There it is. This rod. It's from the bottom. It's 1, 2, 3 up. Double footed. It's on a 735 Powell. And I'm missing. I feel like I'm missing something. But yeah, this one needs to be replaced. That one right there. But I use braid on it. Who cares? Maybe I'll get my red thread out. How much do you have to spend for free shipping, Morgan? $100? Darius, I hope it's good to you, man. Let us know. Let us know. Do you throw the giants for smallmouth? Is that what you're telling us? That giant square bills will catch smallmouth? Or is this when you're largie hunting? That's the other thing about smallmouth is like I've never caught like a 4 pound smallmouth or a 5 pound smallmouth. So I really don't know how small their actual mouths are to even know what would fit in one. I guess I need to catch one of those. So if I need to make a smallmouth specific product, I'd at least know what would be edible. Plenty big. There you go. I do. Darius, you want to put me on my first 4 pound smallmouth? Is that too much to ask? I'll bring the middle ends. Like the spots we have down here, like the Coosa spots or whatever you want to call them, they've got big mouths. They can eat whatever they want. Bait size, like nothing's too big. Um, Smallmouth doesn't care. So what it lacks for in mouth size, it makes up for in anger. All right, let me get out of here. I'm gonna go paint. Wish me luck. A 4 to 5 pound smallmouth with an inhale it. That's a lot of bait. That's impressive. But we'll catch up. We'll catch up with you dudes later. Check in and see if anybody's wrapped any rods in the meantime or any fishing reports. But anyway, good talking to you dudes. We'll catch you tomorrow. See you.